This program is proudly brought to you by Quezon International and Telecom PNG.
Good evening and welcome to Sports Scene, your weekly dose of sports. Now, if you want local and international sporting updates, you are in the right place. Now, without wasting any time, let's see what's coming up tonight. We check out the Sports Envoy program and the exchange with the Valley Hunters Club. We visit the U.S. Embassy for a wrap-up of the Sports Envoy program, the Prime Minister's Golf Challenge. We also have the Australian High Com celebrating their PNG grantees. But first and foremost, our weekend scorelines, beginning with the NRL round number 13. Now on Friday, the Dragons defeated the Knights 20 points to 6. On Saturday, the Storm defeated the Titans 28 points to 16. Cowboys defeated West Tigers 32 points to 28. Sea Eagles defeated the Broncos 34 points to 6. And the Warriors defeated the Rabbitohs 36 points to 30. On Sunday, the Panthers defeated the Eels 18 points to 10, and the Raiders defeated the Roosters 26 points to 24. The Bulldogs, the Dolphins, and the Sharks were all on bye. Moving on to the Host Plus Cup round number 11. On Saturday, the WM Seagulls defeated the Cappers 28 points to 0. Devils defeated the Seagulls 28 points to 14. The Bears defeated Magpies 21 points to 8, and the Falcons came out on top, defeating the Cutters 32 points to 8. In the final games on Sunday, the Jets defeated Clydesdales 42 points to 12, and right here at the NFS, the PNG Hunters boys defeated the Pride 20 points to 16. The Blackhawks, the Tigers, and the Dolphins were all on bye. Now, apart from that, here's what else happened over the weekend. But that is it for our weekend scorelines. Now, moving on to some more local updates now. The Basketball Federation of PNG announced its 3x3 team for the Palau Mini Games. The team will be coached by Gabriel Elavo. PNG professional boxer Junior Kauko Raka will fight against Fiji's Mikhail Ravalaka Jr. on July 19. The winner will bag a Pacific title and also good cash. Right, it's time to take our first break for tonight, but don't go anywhere. When we come back, we check out the Sports Envoy program. Stay with us. Welcome back to Sports Scene. The Sports Envoy program is a program under the Sports Diplomacy flag and comprises of elite American athletes, coaches, and educators who travel abroad for sports exchanges. Now, last week, PNG had the pleasure of hosting Cheta Emba and Andrew Duritalo, both rugby professionals. Cheta and Andrew visited the Valley Hunters Rugby Club's morning tea, where they shared their experiences.
I think one of the biggest things that has always motivated me to keep playing sports is the love of sport, the love of the game. When I get on the field, I experience a sense of freedom. Like, my mind is clear, I'm just running hard, catching, talking to my teammates, laughing. Like, off the pitch, sometimes I have a reputation of like seeming very serious. But in my mind, there's so many thoughts and things going on, but it can be hard to express sometimes. And on the field, you don't need words necessarily to make those connections.
The Valley Hunters Rugby Union Club from Port Moresby's Capital Rugby Union competition hosted Cheta Emba and Andrew Durutalo from the Sports Envoy program at their morning tea last week.
We came as part of the Sports Envoy with the U.S. Embassy State Sport Diplomacy Program. And we've come from the United States just to use sport as a vehicle to just keep fostering connection and building relationships with PNG. It's an exciting time with the development of Rugby League and even Rugby Union, and being here among the clubs as more girls are even joining in the sport. So just, I think, to learn as well on our parts, like what's happening here on the ground in PNG, but also hopefully encourage them for like what's possible and how to keep building.
Cheta, who is a pivotal figure in women's rugby, is an Olympian and repped U.S. Rugby in both the 7s and 15s. Since visiting PNG, Cheta says she is impressed with the programs delivered
I've been
here.
honestly impressed because I'm aware that a lot of people are a lot of girls at least, are just starting out with the sport, but they're picking it up so quickly. It's clear that, you know, the mind for the game, the footwork, the passing skills are there, and they're able to be developed so quickly. You know, we've been giving little bits of feedback here and there, and it takes 2 repetitions and they're already implementing it. So I think just that continued hard work and contribution by like coaches and supporting staff so that they have the opportunity to play and the support to continue developing, like there's no limit.
The Sports Envoy program focuses on promoting teamwork, resilience, and positive youth development. Cheta, following her visit to several workshops and training programs, shared her thoughts.
This might come as a surprise, but I don't think necessarily for the players, once given the opportunity, like resources necessarily will be the biggest roadblock, because what's clear with the players, the clubs, the community is that they're going to use whatever they have to get the job done and to build. And I think there's a lot of creativity sometimes that comes into play when you're trying to grow in sport. You use whatever facilities you have, you use the space, you use the time just to keep building. But I do think that it's going to be really important to get players in together, to have time to develop together as teams and to train with one another. That exposure and competition and training is really important. So the logistical challenges perhaps of getting players from different cities and villages to come together, I think will be a difference maker in terms of making sure that they continue rising and accomplish the goals that have been set.
Meanwhile, American Fijian retired professional rugby player Andrew Durutalo with Team USA enlightened sports scene about the Sports Envoy program both he and Cheta represent.
So this is a initiative by the U.S. Embassy and the Department of State, the U.S. Department of State, in bringing sports envoys to different parts of the world. And I understand that Papua New Guinea is very big with rugby league, as the rest of the world knows. So myself and Chad and myself are here promoting sports diplomacy through the sport of rugby and bringing it to Papua New Guinea.
Following the Valley Hunters morning tea, Andrew gave an insight to his experience.
Yeah, the skill level in this country is ridiculous. Like, especially coming from a rugby union background, I see a lot of potential in terms of how we can continue to grow a very dominant sport in a country like Papua New Guinea. So there is a lot of potential in even taking a step further. And I've been saying this to a lot of the coaches that I meet both rugby league and rugby union. How crazy it would be if we had a Papua New Guinea rugby union team that qualified for the Olympics for both sevens and women's, because I think the main thing is you have the athletes in this country and everybody understands rugby, both codes. So, having that, having the Pukpuks or the women's team, go to a Rugby World Cup. So I think there's a lot of potential here. And I think we have to kind of help in building the frameworks to make it sustainable and really help the pathways in the youths and give them a clear pathway to be successful.
As a Pacific Islander himself, Andrew's week-long stay here has driven him to make the most of his stay in PNG.
Right now, still with the U.S. rugby athletes, in partnership with PNG RFL, they hosted a week-long event where the athletes engaged with locals through rugby clinics and workshops. Here they talk a little bit more about this.
So May 24 to May 30, PNG hosted American rugby players and Olympians, Chata Emba and Andrew Durutalo. This was made possible by the U.S. Embassy in partnership with the PNG RFL and Santos. The U.S. envoys connected with PNG RFL's Better Rugby League Development Program, as well as rugby union teams such as Brothers, Crusaders, Wanderers, and Valley Hunters about their Heart for Rugby initiative. The program was deemed successful as the envoys reached a range of audiences and highlighted how rugby is an important part of the PNG community.
Now, these workshops are obviously such a great initiative. But it's time for another break. Don't go anywhere. When we come back, we'll have more for you on Sports Scene. Welcome back. You're watching Sports Scene. Now, last week Friday, the Prime Minister's Golf Challenge was hosted here in Port Moresby. Now, this event is significant as it raises money for Team PNG to the Palau Mini Games.
The Prime Minister's Golf Challenge hosted last week showcased a total of 40 teams, all with one goal: to raise money for Team PNG to the Palau Mini Games at the end of this month. The challenge was officially teed off by Fisheries and Marine Resources Minister, Honorable Jelta Wong, in place of Prime Minister James Marape, who was unable to attend.
When we say it's the PM's golf, then it's also making a statement that the government is behind us, and everyone that comes on board, they know that, and that's why we've been really successful, because the government, with having it as Prime Minister's Golf Challenge, then it speaks volumes. Hence, a lot of corporates come on board and give us that support that we need to make sure that our athletes are being supported to these games. Today, we were fortunate to have the Honorable Jelta Wong as one of the ministers that did the tee-off for us, and as always, the tee-off signifies that that's it, games are starting.
The Papua New Guinea Olympic Committee confirmed they successfully raised 156,000 kina, during the Prime Minister's Corporate Golf Challenge. This year's top 5 teams are number 1 Savings and Loans, Team Oasis, Kumul Minerals Team number 3, Dataco, and ASAP Finance.
Now here's an interesting story. The Australian High Commission announced its grantees for round 3 of the Play for Equity Fund. Let's take a look.
Social inclusion, it's a key focus for Australia and for our support globally and also in the Pacific region. And as with Papua New Guinea, Australia is a sporting nation. We love our sports, we play different codes, but we love our sports. And we know instinctively the role that sports can play in breaking down barriers and levelling the playing field. It's a powerful driver for change, teaching people to play by the rules, teaching them about respect, building social cohesion, bringing people together. And the Team Up program is really a great program. It operates in 10 Pacific countries. There are 9 programs here in Papua New Guinea, and we're very proud to be supporting communities here. So it's wonderful to welcome you here to the Australian High Commission.
The Play for Equity Fund is an opportunity for individuals and communities to apply for a grant based on a community initiative through sport to lead community inclusion. So this is the 3rd round of the Play for Equity Fund. Very pleased to see 13 grantees in Papua New Guinea this round out of 34 across the Pacific. As you saw today, we had, I think, 6 grantees here from NCD and Central, but the rest are across PNG. So really great to see that this is across PNG at the community level, driven by individual and organisational leadership through sporting organisations predominantly.
Right, it's time to take another break, but don't go anywhere. When we come back, we check out what's trending in the international sporting scene. Stay with us. Welcome back, you're watching Sports Scene. Now it's time to find out what's trending in the international sporting scene. On Friday at the Singapore Open, Yu Fei completed that incredible challenge. She ended Se Young's sensational start to 2025, bringing a close to the 27-match winning streak that the Korean world number 1 and Paris Olympics champion had been on. And that too, in straight games, winning 21-13, 21-16 in 50 minutes. Last week's Coca-Cola 600 race winner Ross Chastain arrived for his Nashville Superspeedway press conference Saturday, still wearing a smile and his winner's ring. From last Sunday's victory at Charlotte Motor Speedway, the 32-year-old Floridian turned in one of the most dramatic wins in recent history in the sport's longest race, rallying from last place on the grid, 40th to victory lane. Chastain beamed, acknowledging the ring on his finger, and said it was purposeful, providing continued motivation in a season that he hopes kicks into gear now at the official midpoint of the regular season calendar and at a track where he's won before. World number 1 Aryna Sabalenka of Belarus lashed out at overbearing and bossy coaches on Friday, saying there was no place for them in the sport. Sabalenka, who has won 3 Grand Slams along with 20 tour titles, said in her own experience, some coaches in the past had put her down, saying she would not amount to much in tennis. A London soccer club is providing a safe space for trans women after a UK ruling. And finally, the Indiana Pacers are advancing to their first NBA Finals in 25 years. Now that's it for what's trending. Here's some sports history for you. On this day, June 5th in 2018, American boxer Floyd Mayweather Jr. was named 2017's top earning sports person by Forbes with $285 million. And here's the sports quote for this week. Don't run away from challenges, run over them. Now here's a fact for you. Did you know that Ernie Banks, nicknamed Mr. Cub, was a legendary Major League Baseball player who spent his entire 19-year career with the Chicago Cubs? He was known for his exceptional hitting, particularly his power and his infectious enthusiasm for the game, often saying, "Let's play too." He was a two-time National League MVP, a 14-time All-Star, and was inducted into the Baseball Hall of Fame in 1977. What an achievement. Right now, let's check out what's coming up this weekend, beginning with the NRL round number 14. Tonight, the Knights go up against the Sea Eagles. Tomorrow night, Storm versus Cowboys, Dolphins versus Dragons. On Saturday, we see the Sharks go up against the Warriors. The Broncos play against the Titans. On Sunday, the Raiders go up against the Rabbitohs. West Tigers versus the Panthers. And in a final game on Monday, the Bulldogs go up against the Eels with the Roosters on bye. Moving on to the Host Plus Cup round number 11, the Clydesdales go up against the Bears, Carters versus Jets, Falcons versus Capras, Pride versus Magpies, and on Sunday, the WM Seagulls go up against the Blackhawks, Tigers versus Devils, and the Hunters go up against the Dolphins with the Seagulls on bye. But apart from that, here's what else is coming up this weekend. Now, just recapping our top stories again for tonight before we go, we check out the Sports Envoy program, the Prime Minister's Golf Challenge, PNG go up against Fiji in a friendly soccer match, and the Australian High Com announces its grantees. Right now, don't forget, if you have a sports-related story you'd like us to cover, please contact us on 312-9229, or you can Facebook us, email us, or drop by our office at Level 2 Garden City, Baroko here in Port Moresby. But that is all we have for you for tonight's show. Join me same time, same place next week right here on your number one to watch. I am J.E. Sapies and this was Sports Scene. Good night for now.
This program was proudly brought to you by Gezal International and Telecom PNG.